Now let's look at the reference page. Use the single word reference centered at the top as a heading at the top of the reference page. Now you might have two reference pages. Not likely, but you might. If that's the case, then you only head the first page. Make sure that you double space your references and make sure that you use hanging indents. Hanging indents are a little weird to get used to at first, but look it up, figure out how to do it, and make sure that you use them consistently throughout your reference pages. Arrange your entries in alphabetical order by author. Now for the cases where there is no author, you would be using the title instead, but whatever it is, they should be alphabetical. Each reference entry has approximately 4 basic elements, no matter what you're referencing. Now there are so many variations on these, so it really is important that you try to look up the sort of reference that you're using, or the sort of resource that you're using, so you get it right. I'll be watching for this. Generally, a reference will start with the author, and it'll be last name first, and then initials, followed by the date of publication in parentheses. Usually that's just a year, but if it is a periodical that comes out several times a year, or maybe even monthly, then that might include the day and the month. Again, refer to an official APA site or source. Followed by the title, and then the name of the publication and or retrieval information. So here's what I mean by that. In this example below, we have a journal, an academic journal. This is how you would cite an academic journal. We have the author, we have the date, we have the title, and you'll notice that the title does not have parentheses around it. Or not parentheses, sorry, quotation marks around it. That's a little bit of a quirk of APA. You'll also notice that it's only the first word in the title that gets capitalized. Double check this when you're creating your citations. The name of the journal itself, the publication name, is in italics, and then we have that quirky little way that APA cites the volume and number. And then, of course, if it's a publication within a publication, so an article published within a longer publication, you would cite the page numbers of that publication. So you can see there's all these fussy little things. And it's different again if something is co-authored or if it's an online source. So make sure that you look this stuff up. Now for this particular reference, we have a DOI number, so that's included here. If there's no DOI number, there's usually a URL. Not in all cases, but in many cases. So make sure that you include that if it's appropriate. Here's one more example, and I chose this particular example just because it's so different than the last one, and I wanted you to see the kind of variation that you can run into. So this is the citation style for an entry in an online dictionary. So we have the entry heading, schizophrenia. There's no date, so ND, in Merriam-Webster's Online Dictionary, 11th edition, and then the URL, retrieved from, and then you have the URL there. So you can see that there's a great deal of variation in how to cite these sources. So make sure that you do check out the posted resources. I'll have them all up on Blackboard and in the resources folder, so you should be able to access them. I have both university resources as well as OWL Purdue resources. You know, I will say that McEwen, since they've made a number of cutbacks, their APA resource material is not as thorough as it once was, unfortunately. So you may need to go a little bit further afield if you're looking for specific ways to cite material.